Hello, everybody. My name is Ray. Welcome to the Evangelical Dark Web. Today, we're going to be talking about Ed Litton and him rewarding his simp, Bart Barber, with being appointed as chair of the Resolutions Committee of the Southern Baptist Convention. This is a little bit wonky, but I'm going to try to make it easy to understand for the normies out there or anyone who's not a Southern Baptist. I'm going to fill you in because there's a lot of stuff going on in the Southern Baptist Convention going on behind the scenes that, again, a lot of the normies aren't going to know about, but I'm tracking it because Evangelical Dark Web is on top of that. So definitely subscribe to the channel and also check out evangelicaldarkweb.org because the last two stories on the Southern Baptist Convention I did not do videos on. So I'm going to recap those stories and recap this story about Bart Barber, who is a giant simp. When you look back on the plagiarism scandal of Ed Litton, not many people came out to boldly defend Ed Litton, but Bart Barber did. Bart Barber did boldly defend Ed Litton and his plagiarism, basically, where he was stealing sermons or purchasing them from Docent Research Group and passing them off as his own. Bart Barber actually defended that on Twitter to the mockery of a lot of online discernment ministries. So with that said, let's just do a recap on the story. So Bart Barber was appointed. This is out of the Baptist Press, which is the Southern Baptist Convention's press release service, basically. The Baptist Press is their Pravda. And Bart Barber was on the Resolutions Committee last year. That was a shock to me because I literally thought that he was just a glorified simp. Like, I really thought that Bart Barber had nothing going on for him. He was just simping for no reason. But he actually was on the Resolutions Committee last year. So this is a little bit of a promotion for him. And this promotion comes, again, loyalty is being rewarded at the Southern Baptist Convention. So a week ago, February 4th, I published this article. The SBC gets more woke with Willie McLaurin named Executive Committee President. So I've done a lot of reporting on the executive committee. When they disbanded their legal counsel submitted to them a letter, a breakup letter, because they were too stupid to represent because they decided to waive attorney-client privilege. So because of that, they lost their legal representation, and several people on the executive committee, high-profile members like Ronnie Floyd and Rod Martin, not to equate the two men, but they are high profile, and they also left the executive committee. They cannot partake in the executive committee anymore. The executive committee is the Southern Baptist Convention while the convention is not in session. This is the committee that basically runs much of the convention's day-to-day business while the convention is not in session. That's what the executive committee is. So Willie McLaurin was named the executive committee president in Ronnie Floyd's absence. And Willie McLaurin's woke. He's mostly a motivational teacher, which is a pretty substantive red flag. But you also see him on Twitter promoting Walter Strickland, Kevin Ezell, using the word Anglo and stuff like that, which I already talked about why that's a woke thing. So Willie McLaurin, pretty woke. He's definitely there to play ball with the Kevin Ezell. Because again, I've talked a lot about Kevin Ezell. Kevin Ezell is head of the North American Mission Board. He basically controls the finances of the Southern Baptist Convention. That's a pretty dangerous position. He's basically their Michael Corleone. He is trying to legitimize his racket, and that is what he's doing. He has done a lot of consolidating of power, particularly as it relates to the state and local level conventions. That's basically been what the Southern Baptist Convention has been doing. It's not about local church autonomy and a voluntary cooperation like in theory is or used to be. Instead, it is the national level convention trying to impose its will on state and local level conventions, particularly through the North American Mission Board, which has a large financial war chest in order to commit these power plays. So with that said, Willie McLaurin is playing ball with Kevin Ezell. Kevin Ezell is largely credited with the rise of Ed Litton, who is the current president of the Southern Baptist Convention, despite the fact that he is an embarrassment to pastors everywhere and an embarrassment to the Southern Baptist Convention. Yet Ed Litton is basically the puppet master because he helped get Kevin Ezell is the puppet master because he helped get Ed Litton nominated. I would also argue he ran the same playbook as he did with getting J.D. Greer 3 terms as president of the Southern Baptist Convention. So the other story is that SBC leaders, and this is a great segue from me talking about the North American Mission Board and Kevin Ezell. SBC leaders launch a NAM whistleblower reporting site. So let me just pull it up right here. They launched a whistleblowing site, and I did an entire article on this. It was published last night. Basically, it's a portal for people to whistleblow on the North American Mission Board. You can submit evidence, emails. You can even mail a letter to these people. So they're pretty committed to help exposing the corruption within the North American Mission Board. Again, I'm not confident that said corruption can be extinguished in the Southern Baptist Convention, but I will help out those who contacted me and wanted to get this story out, and I am help getting their story out. So with that said, to return back to the original topic of this video about Ed Litton appointing Bart Barber as chair of the Resolutions Committee. Let's talk about the significance of the Resolutions Committee for a second. At the annual Southern Baptist Convention of 2021, the Resolutions Committee was very influential in how the convention went down. Much of the highlights of said convention happened when the resolutions were on the floor. There was not a single good resolution as it was written submitted to the messengers of the Southern Baptist Convention by the Resolutions Committee. All their resolutions were bad. Particularly, you had it's okay to be a Democrat resolution, which was Resolution 1. The let's double down on critical race theory as an analytical tool, which was Resolution 2. They doubled down on that right in your face, SBC. And it's because of James Merritt, who was the president or the chair of the Resolutions Committee. James Merritt was in charge of that show, and he used his bully pulpit to emotionally manipulate the effeminate messengers of the Southern Baptist Convention into forgetting why they even went there. Many of them went there to oppose or rescind Resolution 9 from 2 years ago, 2019. And they ended up doubling down on Resolution 9 with Resolution, I believe it was 2. And then you also had a very weak resolution on abortion, a very weakly worded resolution on the transvestite in sports issue, which had to be amended to get stronger language because James Merritt does have a homosexual son after all. So don't expect him to have a very strong letter or a resolution on this topic. And then other resolutions were just simply a waste of time. They also had a January 6th lies resolution on board that was tabled. So it's very interesting. But the messengers did overthrow or supersede the Resolutions Committee with the actually strong resolution against abortion. So it's not like the Resolutions Committee cannot be defeated, but it's a rubber stamp process where they're going to submit a bunch of bad resolutions and the Southern Baptist Convention is going to clap like seals at the stupid resolutions that the Resolutions Committee puts out, which, again, a resolution is not binding, but it is a statement of agreement or a position that the Southern Baptist Convention as a whole is taking on a particular topic or issue. So, for instance, when the Southern Baptist Convention in 2019 declared that critical race theory was acceptable as an analytical tool, that was a position of the Southern Baptist Convention. Not necessarily the position of every church, but as a denomination, which they are a denomination, no matter how much they pretend not to be, they affirmed critical race theory as an analytical tool. And that's a pretty unacceptable position to take. So that's a little bit about what the resolutions committee is. Bart Barber, I do not think is very politically savvy, but he is a simp. And sometimes being a simp has its rewards. So Bart Barber, congratulations. I don't mean that sincerely, obviously. And again, the Southern Baptist Convention is not getting better in this year under Ed Litton. They're getting worse. They're getting more woke. They're getting worse. I don't think Bart Barber has the political competence that James Merrick obviously had. Like, that dude knew how to wield power. He knew how to be a gangster in that situation and how to bully people to vote on the way he wanted them to vote. He had the crying woman promote not calling abortion murder in a resolution. He had that planned, and he had some, again, weak sauce planned for you. He owned you guys at the convention. I don't think Bart Barber will be as successful, but I also think he doesn't need to be as successful. James Merritt plowed the way with a convention that was more alert. I do not think that the Conservative Baptist Network will be able to field enough people to really oppose the Kevin Ezell agenda at SBC 2022. But I'll close by giving a promo. I will hopefully live stream that event on the Evangelical Dark Web, and we'll have some good guests on for a fun time. So that's my ambitions for that convention and covering that convention, just floating it out 4 months ahead of time. So you can mark that on your calendars, because that's obviously how you want to spend a summer afternoon. So that's all I got to say about this. My name is Ray. This is the Evangelical Dark Web. Let me know what you think about what I think, and also support Evangelical Dark Web at evangelicaldarkweb.org/join. You can become a subscriber there. Let me know what you think about what I think, and I will catch you on the next one. Have a blessed day.